and trusted God, who makes everything all right already, will guide you through all this energy, because we're talking about energy.
Carlos Santana is a famous Mexican and American guitarist, songwriter, musician, artist, band leader, film score composer, and music artist. He rose to fame with his band called Santana during the 1960s and 1970s. Back in the year 2015, Rolling Stone ranked Carlos number 20 on the list of the 100 greatest guitarists. During his successful career as a musician, Carlos has won 10 Grammy Awards, 1 American Music Award, 1 APRA Award, 1 Blockbuster Entertainment Award, 1 My VH1 Music Award, and 3 Latin Grammy Awards. Moreover, he's been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a member of his band. Santana's memoir, titled The Universal Tone: Bringing My Story to Light, was published on November 4th, 2014.
I think it was my brother, Tony Bennett, who said, if you take from one person, it's called stealing. If you take from many, it's called research.
If you enjoy these videos, please remember to hit the like button, as it does help us out a lot. And comment below who your favorite celebrity is that you'd love to see in an upcoming video. His full name is Carlos Humberto Santana Barragan, but he's known as Davidip and Carlos Santana. He was born July 20th, 1947 in Atlan, Jalisco, Mexico, making him 73 at the time of this production. He stands at 5 feet 9 inches tall, or 1.77 meters. Back in the year 1965, the guitarist became a naturalized U.S. citizen. It's worth noting that Carlos co-founded the nonprofit organization Milagro Foundation. This organization works to provide financial aid for medical education and various other needs. Rolling Stone magazine has ranked Carlos number 90 on the list of the greatest rock and roll artists of all time. He's also a member of the songwriting organization BMI. The guitarist has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Carlos supports several charity organizations, including Andre Agassi Foundation for Education, Artists for a New South Africa, Clothes Off Our Back, Elevate Hope Foundation, Feeding America, Guitar Center Music Foundation, Headcount, Little Kids Rock, Milagro Foundation, Musicians on Call, Make-A-Wish Foundation, 1X1, National Stroke Association, and PAD. During the early 1970s, he was dating Deborah King, the daughter of Saunders King. The pair got married in 1973 and have 3 children together, including Angelica, Stella, and Salvador. In 2007, King filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. Carlos later started dating drummer Cindy Blackman. He proposed to Cindy during a concert of the Universal Tone Tour at Tinley Park in 2010. They got married in December of that year.
Convince mayors across America to allow Saturdays and Sundays from 10 to 10 to have like what we used to have lovings.
He's one of 7 children of Jose Santana and Josefina Barragan. Antonio, Irma, Laura, Leticia, Maria, and Jorge are his siblings. His father was a mariachi musician who taught him to play the violin. Let me tell you that Carlos had learned to play the violin by the time he was 5 years old. And by the time he turned 8, Carlos already knew how to play the guitar. Jorge is also a professional guitarist. At that time, there were very few Mexicans in American rock music, and Carlos was influenced by Richie Valens. His family relocated to Tijuana and later moved to San Francisco. Then in 1966, Carlos founded the Santana Blues Band, which had started to incorporate various types of influences into their electric blues by the year 1968. Let me tell you that the guitarist has said that he was sexually abused by an American man between the ages of 10 and 12. He says that this man had brought him across the border. Carlos lived in the Mission District and attended James Lick Middle School. He later went to Mission High School and left school in 1965. Although Carlos was accepted at Humboldt State University and Cal State Northridge, he decided to focus on his musical career and never attended college. He was influenced by popular artists of the 1950s like John Lee Hooker and Javier Batiz. Initially, Carlos joined various local bands. The guitarist worked as a dishwasher at TikTok Drive-In No. 2 for several years before deciding to become a full-time musician. In 1966, Carlos got an opportunity to play a Sunday matinee at Bill Graham's Fillmore Auditorium. His performance impressed Graham, and during the same year, he formed Santana Blues Band, along with bass guitarist David Brown, percussionist Marcus Malone, and vocalist Greg Raleigh. The band was later renamed Santana and landed a record deal with Columbia Records. Santana Band gained an immediate fan following in San Francisco and released their self-titled debut album in 1969. The next year, they released the album called Abraxas, which was followed by Santana 3. However, musical differences and drug use were causing problems within the band members. In 1972, the band released albums like Carlos Santana and Buddy Miles, Live, and Caravanasari. Then in 1973, he recorded an album titled Love, Devotion, Surrender with a fusion band called the Mahavishnu Orchestra. During the same year, Carlos had gained legal rights to his band's name, Santana, so he formed a new version with Chipito Arias, Armando Peraza, Doug Rock, Tom Coster, Michael Shreve, and Richard Cremonde. From 1974 to 1978, he released albums such as Inner Secrets, Moonflower, Amigos, Borboleta, and Illuminations. Carlos started his solo career in 1979 and released albums like Oneness, Silver Dreams, Golden Reality, and The Swing of Delight. During the 1980s, the band released several singles as well as albums like Beyond Appearances and Freedom. Santana left Columbia Records in 1990 and signed a deal with Polygram. In 2002, Carlos released Shaman. During the same year, he was inducted into the International Latin Music Hall of Fame. Then in 2005, Herbie Hancock offered him to collaborate on an album called Possibilities, which was released in August of that year. In 2012, Carlos released the 22nd album of his band, Santana. He reunited with Greg Raleigh, Michael Carabello, Neil Schon, and Michael Shreve in 2016 to release an album called Santana 4. The next year, he collaborated with the Isley Brothers to release an album called The Power of Peace. Then in 2018, Carlos published a guitar lesson on YouTube. The lesson was part of the online education series known as Masterclass. The next year, he was featured on Tyga's song called Mamacita. Last year, he was on his Miraculous World Tour, which was canceled due to the pandemic.
To heal a twisted, crooked world infected with fear. The ingredients and the nutrients from African music, which is my first fascination.
Yeah.
Apart from making money as a musician, he's also a published author and an entrepreneur. Carlos owns a chain of Mexican restaurants called Maria Maria. Back in 1969, he earned $2 million from the album titled Santana. And the next year, his earnings from an album titled Abraxas totaled $5.7 million. In 1971 and 1972, he earned more than $3.15 million from albums such as Santana 3, Carlos Santana and Buddy Miles, Live, and Caravanasari. Then in 1973, Carlos earned more than $1 million from his albums Love, Devotion, Surrender, and Welcome. The next year, he made approximately $8 million from the compilation album titled Santana's Greatest Hits. And in 1999, this guitarist earned $18.95 million from the album called Supernatural, which he released with his band Santana. Carlos Santana has a net worth of $80 million. Along with his wife Cindy, Carlos lives in a house in Las Vegas. In 2010, the guitarist bought a house in Las Vegas for $3.5 million. Then in 2013, he purchased another house in Las Vegas for $6 million, which features 4 bedrooms. Carlos Santana likely owns the following cars: a Fisker Karma, a Rolls-Royce Phantom, a Dodge Challenger, an Audi.